I want Colin to tell us now about the excellent work he's been doing with the BP Renegades, because Colin has expertise in this area in terms of this is really a band that has been able to reach an international audience. And Colin, I'd like you to tell us about how you have been so successful in this realm, as well as the challenges that you face or challenges that you think need to be overcome to really maximize the potential of Steel Band.
Ooh, those are two very big questions there. Thank you so much. And hi, everyone. It was great to be here and share and exchange ideas. So let me start by saying anybody who's ever worked with a steel band kind of would share the same sentiment of it's a pretty difficult task, you know. And it's not just the idea of you managing a band of musicians or managing music and rehearsals and all of the things and instruments and stuff, but the culture side of things. And of course, there's a transition happening where we all know the steel band history of where the instrument would have started with fighting and riots and a particular type of mindset. And now moving into 2022, where bands are trying to be more business oriented and focused on marketing and producing and sharing their performances and stuff with the world. There's this junction right now where we are and we're figuring out at the crossroad of where the culture side, of course, is now competing with, interacting with the commercialization side of things. And many bands tend to stay on the first side, the culture side of the importance of a steel band, the importance of it for society and culture and stuff. And there are a few bands, I would say, that have really jumped into the commercial side of things, of packaging their performances, packaging their bands, touring the world, securing international booking agents, being on international platforms, putting recordings out there. Once upon a time, it was about making a pan CD. Now it's about getting music on Spotify and iTunes and the music and all the different platforms that exist. So there are a lot of different things that are happening there. So if I was to fast forward and just say at BP Renegades, for instance, we've done, I think, a pretty good job at kind of managing both, where we still have very strong cultural and community-based roots. So a lot of the players from within the band come from within the community, and we do a lot of community-based activities still. However, we also have moved toward the realm of having international touring and booking agents, touring every single year except 2021. But even right before the pandemic started in 2020, the band would have done 17 sold-out shows in France. So when Renegades tours the world, we literally only perform to sold-out audiences. And when I mean sold-out, I'm talking our tours in France last year were like 117,000 tickets. So I'm also talking very big shows in the world's leading concert halls and collaborations that we've been doing out there. And where we are right now is the juncture of packaging this even more, making specific recordings. So I love what Anya and Mark are doing. And I see Mark as a Fatima boy. Good job. So on that realm of seeing what they're doing with the NFTs and stuff and figuring out, okay, how do we now monetize this in the digital space? It's the exact same thing of where Steel Band is moving to. We would have recently been collaborating with the Big Five Committee, International Steel Band Foundation, conversations with Ainsworth Mohammed, Nigel Williams, Tony Chowlin, and a lot of people just to figure out, you know, what we can do or how we can work together to record music in a way that it would be a lot more palatable, marketable, easily accessible across multiple digital platforms. One of the things that we've deliberately even looked at is the format of how we do the songs. So for instance, traditionally, an 8-minute panorama song would be the benchmark for pan. But then on the bigger scale, we're like, you know, maybe that's not the best tool to market an international audience because they're unfamiliar with the song. It's very much arranged and complex pieces of music. It's Trinidad Calypso music. Many of them may not be exposed to it. So we started breaking it down and saying, all right, let's start doing shorter form songs, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, things that are more easily digestible, simplifying some of the music we put out there. Of course, we still maintain having the complexity of the panorama songs and a very heavy 8-minute arrangements and stuff. But we are deliberately also looking at the different markets around the world and the type of music we record so that we can position it there and get the music out on these digital platforms so that every time somebody streams a song in Africa or China or Sweden or Switzerland or all the places that we go to, 15 years from now, there's still some earning potential from that. So those are just some of the big item things that we've been working on. I mean, in addition to that, there's also a lot of merchandising and a couple of steps behind Anya and Mark, though, of doing pan merchandise. So anybody out there knows that a big thing for steel pans are steel pan jerseys. Everybody always talks about your t-shirt. Every single year bands do new t-shirts and new uniforms. And we would easily sell 3,000-4,000 t-shirts in a carnival season. So there's a big market for that. And of course, the pandemic has forced us all to look at, okay, we no longer have big crowds of the audience coming to the Panya to hear the band, but they're still online. They're still all over the world. We've been recording music remotely. There's a song that we did last year, Heal the World, where we did the music score, sent through our arranger, Duvon Stewart, sent it out to our players all around the world, and had everybody record their piece. So we kind of give them instructions of how we wanted the format, all of that stuff. And we collaborated from about 8 or 9 different countries, from Japan, the US, the UK, Caribbean Islands, Trinidad, all playing different parts of the song, different parts of the instrument. We just put it all together, created a video, put it out there, was able to get people to put things, to share it on in-flight videos with Caribbean Airlines. It went all over the place. And yes, Anya, we would definitely open to digital t-shirts for performances and stuff like that. Because the reality is, what we are trying to do and what we have shown at BP Renegades is that there is a huge market internationally for Trinbagonian branded products and services. People love our culture. It's so expressive and vibrant and fun and colorful and energetic and raunchy and all of these things all in one, that when we're able to deliberately take that, package it, and find the audiences, I mean, just so you guys know, this current period here, Renegades actually was supposed to be in France. We canceled an appearance at an international festival of Journey, where we would have been from January 19th to February 1st. And that would have just been one of our annual tours where we would go and perform for 100,000 people, multiple venues, all sold out. And we're like, now exploring the opportunities of getting to these markets, putting the online and merchandise on online store where people can shop online. I mean, once upon a time was a matter of investing heavily and buying a bunch of t-shirts, printing them and wondering, oh, would these sell? No, we're doing basically customized, where we have the graphic or the design. You buy a t-shirt in Japan, we get the t-shirt printed in Japan and just have it shipped to you there. It's you know, there's so many ways to get around and to maximize how we achieve efficiencies and profitability and the commercial value of what we do, while still keeping the essence of being Trinbagonian and the music and the energy and the vibe that we put out there current. So I hope that was a big, nice summary there.
Well, then it sounds like BP Renegades is a real leader in this area as the things you should be doing. So you are making sure that the music is accessible through legitimate streaming platforms, which means the royalties generated will be going to the correct people. You are making sure merchandise is available to expand your fan base. It seems like you're doing everything in a very formalistic manner to protect the culture and ensure that the revenue goes towards that. But I do wonder, have you had any kind of pushback in terms of, you all obviously very serious about the way you conduct your business, as you should be, to ensure you have longevity. But do you think that this formal approach is something that is easily accepted within the pan community?
Well, many bands out there look at us as shining examples. So the BP Renegades, I would say, are within the top 5 most successful bands in the country, not only on a competition level, but in terms of operationally, how we've managed to maintain a band of over 70 years and different things like that. Again, I go back to my opening statement of, you have a challenge of the culture side of things in terms of the grassroots culture and how it formed and came from the community, and a band leader would be a bad John long time or a bad boy in the community and that kind of thing, which evolved into their son, their cousin, the lady who owned the parlor in the corner kind of thing. And the realities that we have had to face is that when you now start to evolve into the business and the commercial side of things, many people have very limited resources and experience and know-how of to take it to the next level. Of course, aspirationally, everybody wants to get their band there. Everybody wants to be a big band and have a big panyard and big branding and all of that stuff. But in terms of the expertise, because as you can imagine, the expertise usually would come from within the bands. So many bands just don't have the experience, the know-how, the human resource development and capital. And from on the Renegade side, I would say having a corporate sponsor in BPTT over the last 52 years has definitely been a really big asset, because they did a lot of work on training up the human resource element within the band. So when we come out there and we tell the players, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. It's all about professionalism, being polished, putting out, having a brand and identifiable marks and trademarks and logos and stuff. Our members get it. Many other bands are still in the process of understanding it. And we are often willing to work with them and to give advice and stuff like that. But it's a work in progress for the industry as a whole.